What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Marcus Washington, and you're on the mark where we talk everything Falcons football. Man, let me know if y'all hear me loud and clear. Let me get some. Let me get some things straight here, man. So yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on here, man. I had to take an off season, man. I had to take a little mini off season. And since I've been gone, Atlanta's been making some moves. We got some people, we lost some people, we kept some people. And I promise you, I'm keeping this as short as possible. One of the main reasons I'm keeping this short as possible, I had so many things set up for my channel. So many. Your boy put in work. Only for CapCut to be on some fuck shit today. So all the stuff that I had, I can't export. Here's the reason. They want me to go pro. Right? They want me to join pro. The only problem is I'm already fucking pro on there. So now I have to go through Apple. It's just a clusterfuck. But anyway. So probably next week I'll have all this stuff set up. But right now, whatever. We gonna do this. We gonna do this old school, right? So first order of business I want to talk about is Grady Jarrett. When I got the notification that we let Grady go, and then he was out on the street long enough to get lunch before he signed another contract with the Chicago Bears. Right now, I don't know if he said what he said about he got tired of losing, which makes no sense because you're going to Chicago where they're known for losing. But I don't feel bad about that, honestly. It looks like we went to him to try to restructure his deal, and he said, fuck y'all. And I can't get mad at that. On the flip side, Grady ain't really been making no noise on that line for a couple years now. And the year where we had 40 plus sacks with no pass rush, he got injured. That's the year we had Calais Campbell, and then we brought in Kentavious Street, who we got back, and there was no Grady, and there really wasn't any change in the line. And then when he came back, we weren't really getting the production we thought we would get from him. A lot of people be like, hey man, he was getting double teamed, man. So a lot of these premier pass rushers get double teamed and still find a way to get to the quarterback. Grady didn't really do that consistently. So again, I'm not mad at that, man. I think Grady probably got tired. And listen, the defense was trash all last year. I remember people trying to, hassle me about it's not the defense. Look at all these damn moves we doing in the offseason. They're mainly defense. Starting with the defensive coordinator. A lot of the moves that we've made have been on defense. You look at, special teams with bringing in Jamal Agnew. I forgot what practice squad he came off of, but I know he broke his leg a couple of years ago. And Felipe Franks, I don't know what the fuck Felipe got that makes us want to keep coming back to him. When he was here, we didn't do anything. He was a blocker. He was on special teams. Motherfucker played tight end for a second. And I think he's a quarterback. I think that's what he was designated. Man, listen. Special teams he goes. I don't know why we re-signed him. I have no idea. Atlanta has this thing about letting players go that made no impact, no definitive impact, only to bring them back years later. I'm just like, oh, Jesus, man. But yeah, a lot of these moves, Leonard Floyd, defense. We signed defensive tackle. We signed a defensive line. We re-signed Kadero Hodge, which, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not mad at that. I think Kadero Hodge actually earned a spot on this team last year. He was good on special teams. He had the walk-off TD on Tampa Bay Thursday Night Football. He had a pretty decent year. I'm like, I ain't mad at that. We got Storm Norton back. I think Ryan Newsom, we got first rights or whatever. So if there's a team that comes and says, hey, we want him for this much, we can match it. Who else? Who else did we lose? Damn, we lost somebody else. Because I know we extended Jake Matthews because we needed the money. I forgot who else we let go. Oh yeah, man. Let me get some folks in the chat. What's going on, Maddie? Maddie says, how many primetime games do you see us getting this season? We might get 3. We're probably gonna get a Thursday nighter. That's a no-brainer. We might get 3. We might get Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. But the expectations from media isn't really that high on us. Scooter says we lost Carter and Lammett. Yeah. Nate, yeah. But yeah, so I think the media isn't all in on us like they were last year when we, because Cousins was a big piece coming out of the offseason. So people wanted to see, how he would look on a new team. With Penix going into his first full year, I think they're going to take the Desmond Ridder approach. Not saying that Penix is Desmond Ridder at all, because Ridder's on his 14 now? Man, let me look this up real quick. Hold on. Oh, no, he ain't on nobody's team. So, yeah, that's what they're probably going to look at, man, is his first full season. I think the anticipation for Penix is only for us specifically as a fan base, because we did end up not making the playoffs. So I think they're approaching it the same way, man. We got to see what this kid has before we even get serious about the Atlanta Falcons, because we should have had the NFC South sewed up last year. That was a huge letdown. But overall, how do I feel about what we've done? Man, listen. It's a prove it year to me. I'm not going, and I've told you guys, a few months back, my approach to next season is going to be completely different. I'm not getting amped up. I'm not jumping off no porch. Nothing. I'm not doing any of that. These players, the players that we picked up, man, these are short-term contracts. We ain't signed nobody to 4 years. These are short-termers. These are glue guys until we get up from the Kirk Cousins contract, which was going to have us hogtied for 2 years anyway. Now, do I like that they're finally focusing on the fucking defense? Yes. And who knows what happens in the draft. I will say this for once. Atlanta better not draft anybody offensive with their first pick. You got enough. And I hated that we lost Rondale Moore too. But we got enough on offense. You still need another wide receiver over there. But you don't need that in the first. Your first pick, you need to get somebody on the defense. Now, there's talk about supposedly Atlanta's been pitching calls for Kirk Cousins, and they've been talking about a third. Listen, like I told y'all a couple months ago, and I'm surprised that this actually happened with Kirk. I said I would swallow that 10 mil just to put his fucking ass on the bench. Period. You don't get 180 mil, 100 guaranteed pretty much, and then walk into my office talking about you want to fucking start. Meanwhile, you're out there campaigning that you're healthy. Oh, and then you added a little tidbit. You weren't healthy when you were off the cliff, but you ain't tell nobody. You don't get to then come in my office talking about you want to start. Okay, you healthy? You can start? Fine. Get your ass on the bench. And I like Atlanta's response. We gonna do what's best for the team. We don't give a fuck what Kirk thinks. At this point, we don't care. If you're healthy enough to play, that's great. If in any situation Michael Penix gets hurt, then we know you're healthy enough to play. And guess what? You have to play well, because you'll be campaigning to go to another team. So you can't come out there and play like trash. If you do, ain't nobody picking you up. And I'm going to be completely honest, fam. A team would have to be desperate to give up that third. Now, if they give up the third, fine. But Kirk is kind of in a quandary right now. I think Russell Wilson's still out there. God knows what Aaron Rodgers is doing at this point. But Pittsburgh won't him. I think there's only like 4 teams out there that need a QB. One is going to get one in the draft. But I love the fact that Atlanta, they swallowed the 10 mil instead of cutting them. I'm glad they did that, because that didn't really work in Pittsburgh. And I think Russ did a good job. Towards the end, they started to slip. But you see what happened. Now he out here looking for a job. Matter of fact, let me take a look at Russ and see what the status is. Yeah, they talking Giants. But for me, everything Atlanta's done thus far, outside of signing Jesus Christ, everybody is on a prove it year. All these guys that they picked up, prove it years, including the coaches. Maddie says he ain't going to the Giants after the Winston signing. Man, Jameis Winston is a backup at best. I don't know what New York doing. Bro. Maybe they picked up Jameis just to justify the tank for the next year. But Atlanta's got to show and prove, bro. Giants crap Winston. Yeah, William says, and we lost him to the Vikings. That one hurt right there, man, because I really wanted to see what he could have done on the other side of Drake London and Darnell Mooney. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a business. But I look at it this way, fam. Raheem Morris and even Terry Fontenot at this point, They got to win the South. They got to win the South. Wait, Jay, can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? He asked, did I go on mute? Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear me? Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. But yeah, man, at this point, and y'all know I've campaigned for Terry. You know, those first couple of years, he brought in talent. But at this point, to me, you got to get under the blade because you let Raheem pick a first-time OC and a first-time DC. Now, I don't know who's telling the truth about Kirk's injury because they came out, they sounded a little skittish on that. But for me, this year, y'all got to make playoffs. And here's why I say this. You got a quarterback coming into his full first season. If you don't make the playoffs this year, I'd just rather everybody leave. And the front office is the blame for a lot of this stuff too, man. Because the people that they hire, we can go back to Mora. These are yes men. We almost as bad as the Cowboys. It's the same coach. And then we ain't hiring dirty work players, or we're not drafting and signing dirty work guys. Y'all know I've told y'all, I like my defense one shot away from a felony. As much as I like Grady wasn't that dog, man. We need guys on that defense that are aggressive. And I think there's a lack of that on this team. But if you look at what the front office does, I will take this to my grave. The fact that y'all let Bill Belichick walk out of here and y'all decided Raheem Morris was the best option is crazy to me. And it got even crazier last season. We go up 6-3, that's fine. Cool. We riding high. Kirk has 3 bad games. He was bad for about a month and a week. You got to pull the trigger somewhere. And this is why the injury thing is skittish to me. Because we over here like, man, this drop-off needs to be studied. I've never seen a quarterback fall off that badly, that quickly. And everybody's like, he gotta be injured. But they kept saying he wasn't injured. So that goes on Raheem too. That goes on Terry Fontenot too. But I like how they handled Kirk Cousins in the offseason. We're not gonna cut you. We're already in the whole 90 million. We're already in the hole with you. So you coming to us talking about, yeah, you know, I really want to start. So if we can work out something, man, sit your fucking ass on the bench. You bought and paid for. You're not going to put us in the hole and go somewhere else. No. When we need you, we'll let you know. If a team comes to us desperate and want to give us the third, want to come up off of some of this money, fine. But in the meantime, sit on the bench. And, you know, I've heard media say, man, you know what, you can't have a guy that doesn't want to be there. And you know, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You don't want to be here, stay home. We paying for you anyway. And that's going to hurt your stock regardless. So you done probably got paid. You done probably got paid for the last time. Mind you, he cost us a draft pick the minute he got here. So outside of Penix getting hurt, yeah, you can start. You want to start, that's fine. You're going to have to wait. Unless a team gets desperate. And I just don't see any teams out here getting that desperate, man. They would already pulled the trigger. You got Jameis getting signed. Giants could have took a poke at that. They said, no, we could. We good, man. We could. Teams could have took a poke. They didn't. Draft night, Atlanta already telling y'all, we want a third for him. We want a third for him. Now, is it possible a team could get desperate on draft day? Maybe. I think he's going to be here. I think it's going to take a team losing a quarterback next year for them to get desperate enough to go after Kirk. But in the meantime, it's nice to know that you're healthy. That's great. That means we got a backup quarterback that's healthy that can play. But you're never going to get that job back from Michael Penix. When I look at Penix, man, Penix reminds me of early Deshaun Watson before the massage table. Guy's got a cannon for an arm. He's mobile. And he's married. Keep all these players away from the massage table. I don't think we got anything to worry about with Michael Penix in the off-the-field situations. But you got, what was that other player, that kicker, that got caught on the table? Man, they ain't even going to get massages anymore. They going to get, they pickle tickle. And I'm like, dude, there's plenty of massage parlors out there that get down like that. Justin Tucker. Appreciate that, Maddie. Yeah, Tucker out here. And you're the wrong person to be trying to pull that. But they be going in there with good intentions, then they roll over and guide the hand down to the pickle. So I don't think we're going to have any of those issues with Michael Penix. And then, again, Penix is coming here talking cash shit. I'm trying to win 5 chips. That's ambitious, young man. Very ambitious. I'm not greedy. I'll take one. I'll take another for the road. but I'll take one. Let's start with one first. Go says, almost anything in terms of draft compensation works, especially if a team takes a small portion of his cap charge for Kirk. Yeah. I'm with that. If you can pull a third, if you come in with a 5th or a 6th, you can kiss my ass. He on the bench. So I'm like, you put yourself in this position by how you handled it. Here's the thing that I look at. On top of our defense being pure ass because we had a rookie defensive coordinator who was in over his head. They had him on training wheels the whole entire fucking season. But it's how you handle things. You thought we were going to pay $180 million and not have insurance? After you're coming off an ACL injury? My guy, you're tweaking. And that was the smartest thing Terry's done. Because look at the position we in now. Yeah, his salary definitely hurt us for this last year and this year. But he did play. He played what, 9 games last year? And then we got a quarterback now we like, man, this kid gonna be a stud. Now imagine if we didn't draft Penix. Let's just say we drafted a pass rusher. That defense was still gonna be trash. And then we're in need of a quarterback. So the one thing that actually benefited the team was us drafting Penix. Because I ain't heard nobody since the end of last season talking about we need to find a quarterback. Hold on for a second, fam. I ain't heard nobody say that. I ain't heard nobody say, man, you know what, in the draft, man, I've been taking a look at this boy from Tennessee. You know, nobody. Everybody is in unison. This our guy. We got to build around him. So the way I look at it, what Atlanta's doing is what they need to do. They need to build this defense. Now, I think Ulbricht's going to do a great job. But Grady, he didn't want to restructure, man. I can't be mad at that. But if I'm Atlanta, okay. We ain't really been screaming your name the last 3 years. Some of these premier pass rushers, you don't see them getting cut. Look what they did with Myles Garrett, man. Listen, Myles Garrett played that beautifully. But look at how the team talked about him. Oh, it's off the table. We have no interest in trading Myles Garrett. Why is that? Because he is that dude. What is that dude? We just looked at Grady's performance the last 2 or 3 years. Man, you know. He became Sean Weatherspoon. Hey, man, everybody knows who you are here. It just ain't translating on the field like we thought it would be. So, you know, we need the money. Let's go ahead and restructure, kick it down the road. Grady said, man, y'all can kiss my ass. We can't come to an agreement. All right. But Grady still has value, though. That's why Chicago picked him up as fast as they did. As fast as I got the alert that Grady was no longer with the team, it seemed like that man was signed. And he's got a motor. It's just, I don't think he's one of the premier guys on the line. But I'm not mad at none of it, though. But some of these other guys that we got, well, one guy, I know his mama named him. Because ain't no grown-ass man naming his son Divine. I looked at that, I'm like, okay. But yeah, you know, you pick up Divine Diablo. Leonard Floyd is going to be the guy that I'm going to be paying attention to. One of the reasons he had 8 sacks last year. 8.5 if we being technical. That man had damn near more sacks than we had through 10 weeks of the season. By himself. But looks like he's on a prove-it deal. He's on a 1 year. And I'm not mad at that. Hey, they're looking at guys and they're looking at their sack totals. And they're looking at it as if we can pair these guys together, because this is a glue year right here. Next year, we'll have some money to do some things. But then you got to take into consideration, you got to pull the trigger on what you're going to do with Kyle Pitts. Drake London will be coming up on extension talks. So Drake he proved last year that I'm the guy on this team. We signed Darnell Mooney to what, 3 or 4? So you got to start taking a look at this stuff too. Now, whether you keep Kyle Pitts or whether you don't, whatever. Kyle's on a prove it year 2. So do I expect this team to be better than last year? Yes. Yes. You can't get no worse. You cannot get any worse than last year, bro. Last year was an epic meltdown. We went from smoking on packs to putting on nicotine patches. Smoked on a big pack with Tampa Bay. Smoked on a big pack on the Eagles. Smoked on a big pack with Tampa. And then we out here barely getting past Vegas with a quarterback we know his ass. They were one play away from pulling that off with a quarterback that's absolute cheeks. And we got a quarterback we paid $180 million out there. Listen, Desmond Ridder outplayed Kirk Cousins. That game is a fucking insult. But that's how far we slid. Going into this season, we got 2 healthy quarterbacks. I don't want to hear nothing about quarterback play, because I think Michael Penix is leaps and bounds better than Desmond Ridder. We saw what the boy did with Washington. The thing that let us down is twofold. Bad QB play for a month and a week from Kirk Cousins, and our defense was trash all year. So we got a new quarterback, we got a new defensive coordinator, and they're pushing all their chips towards the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, you should be better this year. Now you're going to be better than Tampa. Tampa re-signs Chris Godwin. Godwin just can't stay healthy. But when you got Godwin and you got Mike Evans on the other side, Baker Mayfield, that's a dog team, man. That's a dog team. The Saints, trash. And Carolina's hot trash, but they served us on that last game when we needed it. They served us with Lil Bryce. That's how bad that defense was. Lil Bryce. Last time I checked, Grady was on that defense too. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let me see something real quick. So it should be a race between us and Tampa next year. But I will say this, you do not make the playoffs. Terry Fontenot's fired. Raheem Morris is fired, which in essence, your offensive and defensive coordinator are fired too. That's just how I look at it. I'm a fan through and through, man. But last year broke me. Last year broke me on jumping off the porch before the season starts. It broke me and pissed me off at the same time, because that team was supposed to be a lot better than they were. So Am I going to be excited? Yeah, I'm always going to be excited. But I'm going to be a lot more, especially this year. These guys got to show me something. The only guys that don't really have to show me anything, the majority of that offensive line. Because they've been consistent. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Jesse Bates. Everybody else got to show improve. And that's including Penix. Now, I'm going to give Penix some leeway because this will be his first season as a starter. But everybody else, this is including AJ. This is including Mike Hughes, who we re-signed. McLeod, McLeod got to prove it. And I like Ray, but he got to prove it. He overachieved last season, but that's because Rondale Moore went out. Everybody is going to be on to prove it, with the exception of those names I mentioned. Jesse Bates has already proven he's that guy. So I'm not worried about him. Wasn't really worried about Drake London. He just needed somebody to get him the damn ball. But as far as Kyle goes, yep, Kyle won't prove it. And I've been a campaigner of Kyle Pitts. But sooner or later, bro, you gotta live up to the name that they gave. They gave you the unicorn. You out here playing like Mr. Ed, my guy. So it's hard to keep supporting you and saying you're gonna break through when you playing like Mr. Ed. Wilbur. So you're gonna have to, and you need to be the mystical unicorn, not that My Little Pony shit. You need to make guys pay in the middle of the field. If you do that, it's gonna make Atlanta kind of think twice. But I'm at a point, man. Everybody's gonna prove it, dog. We had everything set up to win last year. Saw how that happened. We won one more game than we did with bum ass Ritter. The only difference was the defense was actually somewhat decent. That offense was absolute cheeks with Ritter. But if you're my gut, man, my gut will tell me eight games is 8 wins is a disappointment. But I just something in the back of my head is like we're not, if Michael Penix is healthy, we're not just winning 8 games. I would find that hard to believe. That's why it's a prove it year. If you can't win more games with this kid, everybody needs to be fired. And I'm definitely not 100% in on the coaching staff. I wanted Raheem gone months ago. And I still ain't changed that, man. If anybody needs to prove anything to me, it's him. Because that Washington game alone should have got him fired. When we needed the wins, his coaching was nowhere to be found. You need to beat Carolina in order to even stand a chance to go to the play, and you got whipped. And then you want to come out in the post and try and put it on every. No. That was you that brought that trash ass DC to our team. You got to get under the blade with them as well. So a lot of these players that we brought in, they're, some of them, Raheem's dealt with before. What's going to be interesting, man, is what we do in the draft. If we do offload Kirk Cousins, the team gets desperate enough, and throws us a third with money. But that third got to be this year, though. I want that third this year. I'm not kicking this shit down. You don't get a quarterback on the house. I want your third this year. If not, he on the bench. Then we make it through next year. We pretty much clear at that point. And Kirk's career is essentially over. Dude, once you that age and you get on the bench, bro, it's hard for you to come back out as a starter. Look how long it took Geno Smith. Baker Mayfield had to be on 2 separate teams before they gambled on him in Tampa. Look at Jameis. All these guys younger than you, bro. Sam Darnold. And this is the reason why Kirk want to start, because he knows if he does not get a starting job this year, he'll never be a starter again. Not in any real serious capacity. That's why I like what they did to him. Why was you all in Washington? Why was you all in Minnesota? But you get here, get your panties in a bunch because we drafted a quarterback, which rightfully so. You got mad about that. You hit an injury. Cost us a draft pick when you walked in. Then you hit an injury. Then you got on TV campaigning for other teams. No, we're already all in on you. You out here trying to date other people, and we still got paperwork. You still on paper here. This divorce ain't finalized. So you out here trying to creep on a player. And problem is, them people that you trying to cheat with, they see what you're doing at home. Oh, if he'll do his partner like that, what you think he gonna do to me? Nah, we good. They out here, these teams are out here trying to get single quarterbacks. And when you look at it, Russell, single. Aaron Rodgers, single. You on paper for another 3 years, bruh. I get you mad. Go in another room. We gonna work this out to our benefit. And I hope Penix balls. And I feel Penix is gonna ball out. Because some of the throws we saw last year, it's just, bruh. There was I think there were 2. There was a 4th and 19 and a 4th and 20. And they were pure dimes, bruh. And I'm sitting there like, man, I hadn't seen that in a while in Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie. Lasers. And he's mobile. He can run. So, in closing, man, we'll see how this thing pans out. Draft is coming around. We don't really have a lot of picks. All of them need to be on defense. And some of these guys that we drafted last year, they need to see the fucking field. Don't wait until week 12 to put somebody that you drafted. No. Dress them, put them out there. And if Raheem don't get this under, he out. This is Raheem's last bite at the apple as a head coach. He already went to bed his first year. People give guys a pass. Hey, man, it was his first year. Okay. Y'all just want to fire everybody, man. Okay. You saw what it cost us last year now. And with sports, I never understood this about sports. When we, everyday folk, work at a job, you don't get to fuck up for a year. Matter of fact, when you start, they put you on a probationary period. You got 90 days. And if one employee is completely messing it up for everybody, they usually get fired. I don't know what it is about sports to where you can visually see this guy is not good at his job, but they'll keep him. Time management, terrible. There were times in the game where we needed leadership. The camera panned over to Raheem Morris, and it was like he didn't know what the fuck to do. Then he threw our quarterback under the bus while saying he's not throwing him under the bus. That timeout was your fault. And even when you tried to justify the time, it didn't even make sense. I felt like we can get down there in the field, down there to the field on time. And I was giving my quarterback, I was giving him an opportunity. No. We need to make the playoffs. We need this game. You want to help your rookie, call a fucking timeout because he's a fucking rookie. Yeah, that's you throwing him under the bus. And I don't like that as a coach. When it's your fault, own it. Own it. Nobody else gets the blame but you. I should have called the damn timeout. Listen, man, I was tweaking. I was big tweaking, man. Night before, me and my partners was out drinking. I was on that King Kong. You own that. That's nobody's fault but yours. And what's crazy is a few weeks prior, we saw the same thing happen in Chicago, and that coach got fired. So the bad part is everybody saw this, which means Raheem had to see this, and he did the same shit. But that ain't the first time we've had a coach in here that struggled with time management. So again, I hope this works. I hope what they're doing and what they're putting together works. I ain't jumping off the porch. Y'all got to prove this to me. I'm not going to sit here and look at these pieces on defense and, man, we doing things. We doing big things. Nope. When it gets put on the field and we see it, that's when I'll praise y'all. Last year, y'all kind of killed that for me. Am I upset by the moves? No. Am I through the moon about them? No. I knew they had to make moves on defense. That's what they've done. So now, can you execute? Can you actually beat teams down? Can we actually have a fourth quarter where we doing other shit around the house? They're not stress inducing. Can we get some of that going on? Because that's really going to tell me what it's about. You can't go this season with 10 sacks through 10 weeks. So that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm gonna get off of here and see if I can work my stuff out with CapCut, because again, I had a ton of stuff, man, a ton of stuff that I can't export, and I'm absolutely irritated about it. But we gonna make it do what it do, though. I guess when I was gone, I came back and I was a little rusty. But yeah, man, shout out to all the Falcons content creators that have still been nonstop with it, man. You know, I just realized this year I need an off season like I used to have when I was on Facebook and in the Bird Gang group. Man, people can attest to it. When the season was over, man, I got an off season, bro, because it takes a lot out of me talking about my team. I take this serious. Like, to me, being a diehard Falcon fan is a lifestyle. But even the players take an off season. So this one this year that passed, man, kind of rocked me a lot harder than I thought it did. Because when the offseason was, especially when I saw Washington and Philly in the NFC Championship game. And I'm like, we beat one team and we should have beat the other team. As bad as this defense was, we should have, we beat one that ended up winning. And beat them in prime time. That wasn't a 1 o'clocker. We beat them in prime time. And then the other team we should have beaten prime time. So I'm like, one of these years, Atlanta has to get it right. They have to. It's like, we got talent, man, but the execution ain't there. Or we got an offense and the defense is trash, or the offense is not good and the defense, like, the only year where we kind of put it together really was in 2016. And we really didn't put it together because the defense was still ranked 27th, but they got a lot better once Dan Quinn took the reins. But that offense was godlike. And then we see what happened in the end. So to me, it's like, it's got to come together one year. I'm not greedy. All I want is one. That's it. That's it. All I want is one. When I see all these Eagles fans coming out of nowhere, oh yeah, man, we on our second one in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? We about to go back to back. Man, that hurts my soul. And a lot of these guys, listen, just like Kansas City, there are a lot of Eagles fans that came out of nowhere. Before Patrick Mahomes got there, Kansas City ain't really had no fan base like that. Before Tom Brady went to Tampa, I kid you not, fam, I hadn't seen a Tampa Bay fan in a decade. And I just want one year where I can sit here and just consistently smoke on a pack every week, knowing that if you play us, you got your hands full. We know it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. No matter what happens, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter every fucking Sunday. Teams you supposed to beat, you need to dog walk them this year. Teams like Vegas are never supposed to take you to, especially when you got the head coach saying we're the worst team in the league. That team should never take you the distance. You're supposed to stomp the shit out of them, get your quarterback out in the middle of the fourth quarter, and we all just chilling. I need to see a couple of those games this year. This year, man. You got the talent on offense. You're piecing up your defense with a DC that I feel can get the job done. I liked him his first stint here. But you come out and you win 8 games this year, bro. Everybody's fired, including Terry. And I like Terry. You got to go too. Because at this point, we just got to get the stink of the regime off. And just bring in if you win 8, don't make the playoffs. This next coach that y'all hire, this motherfucker better have credentials. Because you look at our last hires. Arthur Smith, first bite at the apple as a head coach. Dan Quinn, first bite at the apple as a head coach. Mike Smith, first bite at the apple as a head coach. Jim Moore, do I need to keep fucking going? Get you a motherfucker in here that's got credentials. And to me, a Raheem Morris third year needs to be NFC Championship game. It ain't even about the playoffs because we should have made the playoffs last year. NFC Championship game. Then I get off his neck. Jawan says, and you're going to lose the, Bird said, and you're going to lose the fan base. Yeah. Dude, there's already fans that are 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I haven't really seen people just ecstatic about next year. There's some things to be excited about. We got a quarterback that can spin it. He's got a connection with Drake London. Now, Darnell Mooney was hobbled at the end of the season. Kyle Pitts didn't really move the needle when Penix got there, but Penix has admitted I need to get him the ball. Bijan's going to be Bijan. But I haven't heard any Falcon fan through the moon about next season. And that could change in the draft. Atlanta could possibly swing some things and get a home run hitter or two. But I still need to see that on the field. So I'm not even going to be ecstatic at the draft because I'm going to be looking at this like, okay, what you doing on the field? So I think everybody's pretty much in the same headspace I'm in. They got to show improve this year. Because last year broke a lot of people. Jawan says, you think we can still get Parsons? Man. No. Wishful thinking, though. But no. Dallas has a habit of taking their premier players to the edge of the cliff and then signing them. They've done it with all of them. They take them to the edge and then pay them anyway. I think the same thing gonna be done with Micah Parsons. Now, from what I hear, their contract negotiations ain't even close to being warmed up. So yeah, I think Atlanta's out on that too. And I just think we're not the organization that's gonna take a big swing like that for a defensive player. But I mean, that defense wasn't our world last year either. So that's one of the if it happened, it would come out of left field. Carlos says they had us too excited, and that letdown was almost like the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was just the downward spiral, man. It went from us, being in the clouds to why is Kirk throwing there? Oh, how in the world is this team putting up 30 points on our defense? It became that. It became where you're sitting on the couch and you're like, how is this? How is this happening? How does this keep happening? It got to that point. And I think the fans need a season where everything clicks. I think a lot of us are burned out. we're burned out, man. And we're just like, just give us a season where we're fucking competitive. Something's always happening. Nando says Terry Fontenot has to nail this draft in order for the Falcons to make the playoffs. With or without this draft, we should make the playoffs. With or without it. And I would argue they owe us the playoffs for what they did last year. That's why, to me, Terry and Raheem, they're getting fired this year if they don't make it. Because at this point, you have no business. It's not like you're in a division that's got killers. Saints, cash strapped. They can't get anybody. Nobody's afraid of Derek Carr. Carolina, the same deal. You don't have a division of killers. But you constantly coming in second place. Third place. So yeah, I'm at the point now to where it's like, when next year starts, we'll see what's up. I'm not shooting the moon, man. I'm not shooting the moon. And outside of a handful of guys where I looked at him like, okay, let me see what he can do in the Falcons jersey. When we signed Jamal Agnew, first thing I thought to myself is, that's special teams. That's the first thing I thought to myself. I'm like, that's a special teams, pickup. Okay. When I looked at Jordan Fuller, I'm like, well, he played under Raheem before. Now, again, when I saw we picked up Leonard Floyd, I'm like, okay. Let's see what we got here. But I can't knock them for trying. They're trying. So I can't knock them. A lot of these signings I look at, I'm like, okay, a lot of them are going to defense. We re-signed Kadero Hodge. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. Now, at the beginning of last year, I definitely wouldn't have been cool with that. But he earned his spot. So this year, I'm like, oh, okay. Kentavious Street, I'm like, okay, I'm with that too. So they're not terrible. They're not. It's not like they're signing guys and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's not that. It's like, okay, they're focusing on defense. But in the draft, they need to get these defensive players. If you're gonna get a wide receiver, you better wait till that last pick. The Jake Matthews extension, I understand it. Some people are like, man, Jake Matthews long in the tooth. Man, here's what I look at when I look at Jake Matthews. This man has played all but one game his entire fucking season, bro. There's not a lot of players that can say that. So if you're talking about a reliable guy at his position, it don't get no more reliable than that. So I'm not mad at what we're doing, but again, I'm not screaming from the mountaintops, we going to the playoffs this year. No. And y'all know me, last year I was off the porch. I was off the porch talking cash shit. And that might happen again when this team proves itself. We start walking teams down, beating the brakes off of them. Yeah, your boy back outside. I'm going to talk cash shit regardless. But your boy going to be reckless with it. Like I was at the beginning of last year. But again, walking into the season is to prove it. Greg says, Mark, you may have talked about this already, but do you think Atlanta will stay at 15 or try to move back to get more picks? That depends. That depends. That's why Kirk Cousins is such a focus on draft day. You have some people saying that, Kirk isn't going to be a starter on day one. We'll find out with the draft. There might be a package where we could potentially move up. I'd have to look at who's drafting it where. But my gut feeling tells us I don't see Kirk being in a package on draft day. Because the team would have already traded for him. So to me, if they offload Kirk during the draft, that's just Atlanta being desperate. Because if there are reports that a third round pick is what Atlanta will get off of Kirk for, then getting a fourth or a fifth round pick or even a sixth, no. And I know a lot of people want to offload him. I know a lot of people don't want him on the roster. I'm one of them. But if we can't get what we want, he's on the bench. Now, moving back from 15, man, I'd have to see what's out there. Like, if they can get a decent pass rusher at 15, you take that. But if the guys that they want, if all of them are off the board at 15, yeah, moving back ain't so bad. But we'll have to see, man, when the draft gets closer. When the draft gets closer, we'll see what's up. I'll do a video on that. But yeah, just talking about what this team should have did last year. Am I optimistic this year? I'm slightly optimistic because of the quarterback that we have, because this offense started to hum last year. My issue was, Jesus, that defense, man. And we weren't playing the right scheme to begin with. Jawan says, and we're not taking the 40 million cap hit. This year, man, and let me say this in all transparency. Do I want to see Raheem succeed? Yes. One of the main reasons is because he's a black man. So I do want to see him succeed. But he dug that ditch for himself last year. So do I think he can dig himself out of that ditch? He better. Because if you don't, you will never get another shot to be a head coach. And I mean never. So again, the defense needed to be retooled. That's what they're doing. Not mad at it, but I just don't want to see us every Sunday. These games come down to the fourth quarter. All these teams ain't that good. And if every team is taking you to the fourth quarter, that means you're not good. That's what it simply means. You're not good. And I just don't want my team to end up like that. And more so for the fan base, because it has been 7-8 years since we've tasted the playoffs. It gets nauseating. Especially when you have talent. It's not like we're out here like the Giants, where you start off the year knowing you ain't going nowhere. Every single year, it's like, well, with the exception of, I'd say, Matt's final year here. He didn't have anybody. Julio wanted out. Julio jumps on Undisputed talking about, man, I'm out of there. And I mean, even then, Atlanta took a swing big. We were in on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. And I'm so glad, dude, we did not dodge a bullet. We dodged a nuclear rocket. Because look at what's going on in Cleveland. And here's the reason why I think Kirk is in a bad spot. Cleveland's desperate for a quarterback. They ain't even take a poke at him. Deshaun Watson might be done playing football. Because even when he was healthy, he forgot how to play football. Then he went out with a season-ending injury. Then he re-aggravated it. That man might not ever play. Not in a starting capacity. But you'd figure, hell, Cleveland would have been desperate. Nah, we good. Now, that's not to say draft night come around, they don't get desperate, but I don't think they're ecstatic on taking on anybody's contract when they're paying $230 million guaranteed. And we thought that was crazy until Josh Allen got papered up. Now, Josh Allen, to me, here's the thing, and I'm going to get off here. Do I think Josh Allen is worth all that money? No, I don't think any player is worth that. However, I ain't mad at it. Go get your paper. Go get it. That's why I'm not really mad at Grady. Fuck y'all. I'm not restructuring nothing. Nothing. I ain't even mad at it. From a business aspect, get your paper. I'm not even mad at Deshaun Watson. They offer you $230. $230, young bull. Go get that. Did I want him at the time? Yeah, but $230 is hard to walk away, and it's fully guaranteed. Man, stop. So I'm not mad at it. I don't think I'm paying one player that much money, especially one that hasn't won or been to the Super Bowl. But it just seems like that's the going rate. It keeps going up for quarterbacks. Scooter says Deshaun robbed them boys like John Wall, like John Wall did the Wizards. Hey, you throw in Bradley Beal too. How Bradley Beal has a no trade clause in his contract is stunning to me. Think him and LeBron James are the only players that have a no trade in their contracts. LeBron earned that. I don't know what Bradley Beal did to earn that. Certain things you have to earn, in my eyes. To me, I'm just not paying a player $300 million. That's just me. But again, I'm not a GM. I'm not an owner. So I guess they felt him coming off an MVP season, which, listen, politics. I'm screaming politics because Lamar Jackson certainly should have won the MVP. And that's one thing I don't understand about the whole MVP thing. If I got an MVP previous years and my numbers are better this year than the year I actually won it, how did I not win this again? Man, whatever. Shout out to Josh Allen getting papered up. Shout out to Myles Garrett getting papered up. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. But certain things I look at and I'm like, I don't get it. This isn't coming from a place of hate, because I don't hate any player. The fact that the fact that grown men hate a player, to me, and not just an average player, because you notice people don't hate on bums. Nobody hates Harrison Barnes in the NBA. Nobody. But people hate on LeBron James. And I'm like, I guess it is true. When you are great, hate comes with it. Now, to me, I don't care who your GOAT is. I don't care. It's subjective anyway, right? But I ain't hating on no goddamn greatness. I ain't hating on greatness. Patrick Mahomes, they got their ass chewed in the Super Bowl. That still don't take away from the fact that that's a generational talent. And you're still witnessing greatness. It's hard. Dude, think about how hard this is. It's hard for us to make the playoffs. This man has made 3 straight Super Bowls. And you got people hating at that. Oh, you getting all the calls, which was true. But that's still a hard task. When people hate on LeBron James, I'm fascinated by it, honestly. Because if there were a 40-year-old that got a chance to play in the NBA for a season, we would be praising that guy. Even if it was for once he finally lived out his dream. Nobody would really be hating that. You got a 40-year-old ball player putting up better numbers than guys half his fucking age. And people hating at this. I'm like, bruh, do you know how hard that is? Most days I roll out of bed, my back hurts. And then when you look at all the players that have played at his age, and you look at the numbers, bruh, LeBron out here playing like a superhero. They weren't even averaging double digits at his age. This man's averaging 25 fucking points. But you'll get people that get on, man, he just pad statting. They had to go out and get Luka so they can gift ring him his 5th ring. I'm like, bro, that. First off, it's fucking stupid. Secondly, AD was having a good year. Thirdly, this wasn't even his pick. Dallas wanted to offload Luka because allegedly he had issues with, I guess, staying in shape. And I'm like, listen, if this man on one leg and not in shape can take his team to the finals, what? And I'm pretty sure Rob Pelinka got that call and said, hey, listen, we'll trade you Luka for AD. We need a big. Fam, he couldn't have got to the fax machine quick enough to get that contract sent. That had nothing to do with LeBron. But I'm sitting here like, dude, y'all witnessing greatness right now and hate it. But y'all don't hate on mediocre players. Guys be bum as hell out here. Ain't no shots taken at these guys. Y'all hating on LeBron, but make no mention about Paul George. Kidnapping, 4 years, 200 plus million with the Sixers. No hate's thrown at Kawhi Leonard's way when the man's barely played half the fucking games since he's been there. But yeah, LeBron, he just patched that. He trying to chase the ghost of Michael Jordan, and he will never make it because Michael Jordan, he was the GOAT the minute he stepped on the basketball court and put on some shoes. And this be coming from 20-year-olds. You wasn't even fucking old enough to see Jordan play. You literally saw highlights. Jawan says, so you got Jordan or LeBron? LeBron. Hear me? Yeah, I'll talk about this for a minute. So, yeah, Mike was never my GOAT. Even when he played, he was never on my GOAT. He was on my Mount Rushmore for sure, but he was never my GOAT. That was my GOAT was always Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because as good as Michael, not even as good, as great as Michael was, statistically, he was never better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Never. And Kareem had a shot that was unguardable and so hard to do, you don't see people out there doing it no more. The sky hook, the last time I saw somebody consistently do the sky hook was Akeem Olajuwon. Everybody does a fadeaway. We saw Kobe basically become Michael Jordan 2.0. We've yet to see another Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So he was always my GOAT because he, again, same amount of chips. He went to more finals. He scored more points than Jordan did. So he was my GOAT for one reason. I was like, ain't nobody ever gonna get this record. Nobody. And that record stood for 30 plus years until LeBron broke it. And I've always said, even in high school, the minute somebody breaks Kareem Abdul's scoring record, I'll crown them the GOAT. And when LeBron did it, I had to. I'm a man of my word. I had to. Because one, in order to even attempt to beat that record, you have to play for 20 years. And you have to play at a high level. So when I hear people talking about, well, man, that really ain't no big deal as far as a record. Dude, nobody else has done it but LeBron. And he did that like 2 years ago. So my argument is, when people bring up scoring titles with Jordan, that's true. But that also means that LeBron has more points than he did, and he's not really considered a scorer. And he did it on less shots. Either way it goes, I'm not one of those guys that's going to hate on Michael Jordan. Mike's on my Mount Rushmore, for sure. 4 players I got to put up there, Jordan's definitely up there. But so is Kareem, so is LeBron. I'm not going out of my way to hate on what Jordan did. And I kind of agree with Michael Jordan. You know, he views it as, in eras. He was the best in his era. LeBron is the best in his era. And I think you can appreciate both. The thing that's hard for me to comprehend is why all the hate for somebody that's the best in his era. A lot of other guys don't get. My team is the San Antonio Spurs. Tim Duncan never got hate. So, heavy is the crown, I guess. But when I watch LeBron play now, it's just like, man, ain't nobody at this age supposed to be playing at this high level. And look at the guys he came in with. Dwayne Wade was never this good. These I'm just stating facts. Carmelo was never this good. And their fall offs were harsh. Dwayne ended up following follow, following LeBron to Cleveland. And so did Melo with the Lakers. And they were falling off a cliff then. So again, when I look at even football, did Matt Ryan receive hate? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And a lot of it came from the fact that he wasn't Michael Vick. Is that unwarranted hate? Yes. I never hated on Matt Ryan. I just called it what it was. When Matt Ryan fell off a cliff, I called it. That ain't hating, it's just what you're seeing. Was Matt Ryan better than Michael Vick? Yes, by a long shot. So anybody that will come to me talking about Mike Vick was better than Matt Ryan, man, sit the fuck down. Was Michael Vick more entertaining to watch? Yes. I would argue that Mike Vick brought a lot of fans. He probably brought more fans to the Falcons than Matt Ryan. I'd argue that. But as far as quarterback play, yeah, Matt Ryan is probably, well, ain't no probably. Matt Ryan is the best quarterback Atlanta's ever had. But Matt started receiving criticism when he started to fall off. I can understand if there was Matt Ryan hate in 2016. Then you got a legitimate argument. But a lot of the criticism from Matt Ryan, I used to say this, and I will always say this. Before games, if you saw Matt Ryan with the deer in the headlight stare, we in for a long Sunday. And I called the end of his career almost to the letter. I said, when he leaves here, Matt Ryan will be out of the league in 2 years and he'll be on TV. And I'll be damned. He was out of the game within 2 years and on TV. Now, I got Julio wrong. I said Julio will be out 2 years doing a podcast or something. He's not doing the podcast, but he definitely fell off. But even in football, you don't really see the hate on great talent unless you're a quarterback. Because I'm starting to see it with Patrick Mahomes. But when you talk about like the wide receiving core, you don't see a lot of hate for Tyreek Hill. You don't see a lot of hate for Jefferson or Chase or Higgins. They get praised because they're great at what they do. I guess basketball different. I don't know. But I've never seen that much hate towards one guy who's great. Football, it's a bit different. You know, Antonio Brown. I'd argue even Antonio Brown did get hated on. And Antonio was unglued at the end of his career. Man, when I saw that man take off his jersey and run off the field shirtless, I said, damn, AB, you ain't never gonna play football again. And that's what now, I think he was on the pivot. That's the most coherent I've heard Antonio talk in a while. Now, he's a troll to the max. I kind of low-key like that. But listening to him talk about why he did what he did, I'm kind of on that type of time too. If you don't want me there, and you saying shit like, get the fuck out, I'm not going to sit on the sideline. I'm not taking off my jersey and stuff, but you ain't going to see me the next quarter. Now, two things can be true. what he's saying can be true, and on the flip side, him getting mollywopped. And people talking about he's got CTE. After that could low-key be true too. Damon, what's going on, fam? Yeah, it's been good, man. I took an off season, so I'm back. And with that being said and done, I'm gonna go ahead and end it on this note, man. I'll probably be on sometime this week. I just got to get all my stuff off of CapCut because I worked hard on it. So I'm gonna get that, and then we gonna have a good time, man. But again, shout out to all the content creators that have held it down, man. But your boy back now. Your boy back in the mix. And I ain't playing no bench. I'm starting. I ain't playing no damn bench. But I'll holler at y'all sometime this week, man. And we'll start really going into detail what we've done in the offseason as far as who we picked up. I think I'm just gonna break down and just do a video per the people that we signed. I could have did in this video, but I ain't really want to go in depth. But I'll probably my next video will probably be about one of these players that we picked up, and then we'll just do it that way. But with that being said and done, man, I hope y'all have a fantastic Sunday, and your boy is out. Peace.